This is Rick Palieri, and welcome to another chapter in the Songwriter's Notebook. And we have a special guest today. You know, it's always fun to get someone right here from Vermont to come up, and usually we have a lot of people who travel all over from all ends of the earth to come on the Songwriter's Notebook. But this fella has come all the way from Castleton, made his way all the way up here, and I just met Robert Wuagneux, and it's been such a great adventure. And he's going to share a little bit about his life and his mysterious life. That's it, because you see, he's a man of intrigue. I didn't realize this until, like I usually do, I go through the process of trying to find out about my guest. And I went and I put his name in the Google, and I found very little. I found you're a musician.
That's right.
I found that you're getting a lot of airplay, you're doing a lot of interesting things, but I really wanted to know the backstory.
Stealth.
And I couldn't find it.
Stealth.
So that's what we're going to do. We're going to explore Robert's life a little bit, his music, what he's up to these days, and just try to get an idea of who this mysterious man is. Now, Robert, you got to tell me a little bit about that. Is it purposely that you tried to keep a little bit of that hidden?
Well, first of all, the traffic jam that we just had on between the banjo and my guitar was a lot crazier than the traffic jam I had coming up here. But that was kind of fun, actually. Well, anyway, getting back to that. Music and intrigue. I don't consider myself to be a private person like that. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty much an open book. I teach in the undergraduate department at Castleton State College, as well as in the graduate department at Norwich University. And then I went to Middlebury, so that'll explain a lot of my bipolarity, because those that know about Norwich and those that know about Middlebury will understand that there's a lot of disparity. I just have always found that life is for living, and I wasn't going to be branded, labeled, and I don't think I've consciously done it, but somehow it has worked out that I've been able to just swim in the pond without being caught in a net. And I like it, and it allows me to meet people like yourself, and just recently other folks from the left coast who discovered my music, and people in Europe. I just go about the business of doing it without the fanfare, and I believe that that's what's been successful for me. It's not about telling people who you are, it's about doing it, and then let the work speak for itself. And that's where I'm at.
But let's talk a little bit about your travels, your early travels, and how that kind of shaped you as an individual.
Well, my mother was a war bride. And for those people who don't understand what a war bride is, my mother married my dad right after World War II in Italy. And I grew up my early part of my life in Italy, and I had a bicultural household. And it was great because my mother learned English through me, which was rather interesting stuff. But it gave me a tremendous amount of insight into other cultures, because after the war, there wasn't much housing for soldiers coming back. So they were pretty much dumped into, believe it or not, it was an old POW camp on Staten Island. And so I grew up with kids from everywhere in the world my age, because of other women that married men and vice versa. Mm-hmm. And so we grew up in a total ethnic consciousness-free environment. No one ever looked at anyone as being different. Everyone, I mean, even as kids, there was never any of that. Parents, never any of that. One day one mom would watch one bunch of children, and another day. It was always a rotating thing. So I think that contributed a lot to my sense of safety wherever I traveled. And then eventually I of course lived in Italy, and then when I did my graduate work, I did graduate work in Spain, and I did graduate work in France, and I studied abroad because I wanted to, because it allowed me to visit my family. And that was back in the day before TSA, where life was fun. You get on an airplane for $99 and as a student do it, and it's true because I've done it many times. I have, not now, but then. So I learned a lot about the world by traveling and meeting people and sharing their homes, and as well as they sharing mine. And it was a wonderful experience. And I tell students repeatedly, travel, meet people, because it's the quickest way to break down all of that mystery about a human being, is when you see how that they have family and they eat and the same as you do, the same kinds of foods. It's about sharing your life experience. And if more people did that, we would have less problems. And I know the problems that I'm talking about you're well aware of.